Oh, absolutely. They train dogs to, if we really look at the wide spectrum of conditioning on dogs, we train them for police purposes, for border security, for smelling out drugs, cadavers, finding dead 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 beings and people in the ground or trapped. Animals sense people trapped, and yeah, they do. There's a certain breed of dog, by the way, that if my memory serves me right, that can actually attune. They're already attuned to finding growths or skin cancers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's amazing what our fellow best friends are good at.
Absolutely. I just love animals. They're absolutely precious, in my opinion. And they're good for the soul. Good energy.
Oh, true.
Well, let's see now. I'm going to ask you about, do you have, I know you do, is there something in development coming up that you can share with us, or is that top secret?
No, it's funny. I didn't sleep at all last night. And when it rains, it pours. My one show, we'll start out with one to begin with. I created a television series back in 2006, and it deals with working with law enforcement. A lot of people know this. It's called Psychic Profiler. On my page, my website, RobbieThomas.net, there's a case down below with International Police Chief Kevin Smith, one of the most highest-ranking police chiefs in the world. And he was retired, pulled me on his show, and started talking about the baseline killers. But prior to that, I told them how they were going to arrest the baseline killers, who they were, and they've already spoken to them. He goes in detail of all the information that I gave them, and he pulled me back on the show and wanted to talk about it. So I figured, well, I created this program, and I met the right producers who are very spiritual, who really want to bring this forward to help families. I would not do it any other way. It's all about families first, and trying to bring the perspective of finding solace and a resolve to something that is in this world is terrible, and we already discussed the murder cases. So I asked him, would you be part of it? And he said, I never believed in psychics, and but I'll believe in you, and I'll do this. So we went down, we filmed the pilot. It was a double homicide, and again, we're in Kentucky, and it was amazing. 20 years they couldn't solve it, and within 20 minutes we had this case solved. The science of him, his police work, and the ability through where I had to explain where I'd find, certain things and what would pertain, where to look for paperwork, and we pulled it all together. That is my baby, and that show there is something for the people. It's got nothing to do, and again, it's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with families. You see so much out there on TV anymore where it's all about, just jumping and just doing things, and there's no resolve. So I wanted to bring something for families. So we did this. Another TV series. Now this is the second one. I'm leaving on Monday, and we're shooting it in Toronto. I can't get really into specifics of what network. I spoke to the producers today about if I could leak anything out on the show, but this is as far as we can go with this part of Psychic Profiler. Everybody knows it. It's on my website. America's Most Wanted film crew. Like, here's another tidbit for that. Just jumping back to that show, they jumped to it right away. And I remember sitting at supper with the head of the film crew, and what Jim said was, John Walsh knows all about my work. And I thought, wow, this is just blowing my mind. And he goes, it's amazing what you do. And we jumped to it right away because John's on CNN. And at the time, he wasn't really on CNN. He was just going in that direction. But they were up for a gig, and they wanted to film something really integral that got promise for families. And so they jumped to it. They're from Carolina. And they jumped to come all the way down to Kentucky and film, and they're going to be the film crew. And, of course, Lamport Shepherd's from Toronto, award-winning film production of Lamport Shepherd. And it just all fell together. And so then we created another show, and that's being shot. As I said, I leave on Monday to film that. And very soon there's going to be something that's coming forward. It's going to be big news for the whole paranormal community. And I think everybody should come together on this. They're going to love it. That's everything from spiritual to paranormal. It's going to be huge. There's nothing out there like it. And it's just not my show that's being filmed this one on Monday or Psychic Profile, but this is bigger. And so that's as much as I can get into on that aspect.
Okay.
Last night.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. No, that's great. I know, and I'm happy for everybody.
Please do. I love to hear what you have to say. Please, carry on.
Yeah. And I'm happy for everybody in the para community. I'm going to be a big part of this, what's coming forward, and it's going to be good for everybody. Now, going to last night's phone call, I was speaking to a beautiful, incredible woman for 8 years, maybe, roughly, and we talked about another show. And she said, I want you to offset James Van Prague. And this is what the beginning of the talks were back then. And you'll sit at a table, and you guys will do your thing, and we got certain things we want to put levied on the table, and you guys talk about, like subject matters. And I thought, well, this is really good. I was interested, wasn't interested, and then I didn't do it. And then she said, okay, well, Hearst Productions, they want to talk to you about a show. So, again, here's another show. And so it didn't go too well. They wanted everybody in L.A. right away, and I'm in Canada, and I couldn't leave, so that's one show I didn't get. So then come full circle to last night's phone call. She calls, and she says, I'm offering you this show. And I said, yeah, we talked about it for years. And she said, yeah, and what do you think? So we went through the aspects of everything, what I like to do about it, what I want to introduce to the show. I'm going to be the host of the show. She agreed. Everything's set and done. I got my manager talking to her. Everything got mailed off today. We're hoping to hear back quickly. Paramount and Viacom, major companies, they own it. And, it's a step in the right direction. I would love to tell you the name of the show. I would love to get into specifics, but until I can, I can't.
I understand, my friend.
Yeah, and I'm just happy to let you guys know about this much. And this woman's fantastic. She's a multi-Emmy award-winning film producer. She's done, oh my goodness, hundreds of shows from anime, sci-fi to you name it. She used to be the anchor woman for CNN for 25 years. So we're talking about somebody who's very integral. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I think I know without me saying it. Wow.
Yep. She's a good friend of mine now, and like I said, for 8 years we've been talking, and last night we just talked it up for over an hour, and there was no convincing. I mean, we talked, and she just said, I want to give you the show, and I said, you got it. And let's do all the fine-tuning and do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you have a message coming through in the chat room, and it's from a lady, I believe her name is Cheryl, and it just says, hey, Robbie, congrats on all of your new exciting projects. Your hard work is paying off, and humanity is benefiting from your gifts that you share with the world.
Oh,
I pass that along to you, and that you are absolutely amazing. My chat room is, I don't know if you're in my chat room, Robbie, but
no.
you are getting
I wouldn't even know how to get there.
and beautiful accolades right now.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm going to have to go get some of your books, and I'm going to have to go get some of your books, because that's all everyone in my chat is talking about is your incredible books and how they've helped people.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That means a lot. I mean, again, you say that it's your books, but it's everybody's, and I'm just giving a message from God and Spirit, and I'm just glad that it's helping. If it helps one person, that's all that matters to me, you know what I mean? And I'm glad, I really am.
Now, if anybody wants to call in, feel free. The number here is 1-607-441-6233. Once again, 607-441-6233 is the call-in if anyone wants to ask Robbie a question. I've answered pretty much a great deal. You've answered a great deal of my questions tonight. I've kind of run out of material here. I actually want to run something by you. Now that I know that you deal with missing children and whatnot, do you reach out, if you see something on TV or on the news or in the newspaper, do you get a premonition? Do you reach out to the family? And I know you're in Canada, and see if they want help, or do you reach out to the police force first, or do they come to you?
Yeah, a long time ago, my first case, and we're almost a quarter of a century backwards, I seen this individual walk across the parking lot, and I was speaking to a good friend of mine who used to be manager of the apartment building. And I seen this black shroud around this guy. And I was staring at him, and I knew what black meant whenever I seen anybody. It's bad. There's something bad deed that they've done, and it's not leaving them. It's a cloud. So Greg, I'll use his first name, Greg, turns and looks over his shoulder, turns back to me and says, "That's Jesse." He says, "Do you want to meet him?" And I'm curious. And I said, "Sure." So we ended up in his apartment, if you will. And if you can picture a mini sawed-off Eddie Van Halen. This gentleman was 5'0", but a spitting image of Eddie Van Halen with the long hair and what have you. And I, went in there, and at the time I was going through to be a police officer, doing testing and what have you. And so my line of questionings would pertain to like straightforward. And this individual caught on to my drift, and he asked me to stand up. And he goes, "Are you effing hot?" And I didn't understand what he meant. And he lifted up my shirt and he started patting me down. I knew exactly what he meant, because I was wearing a wire. And so he pushed me down in the chair and he goes, "You really wanted to know?" And he says, "We're across the way ripping off the car stereo, and another individual that he was with is murdered the second time now is in jail for saran wrapping his girlfriend, watching her die. This guy's in jail."
Oh my God.
But he goes, he went across the way and wanted to rob the little gas bar. And so we went across there, and he explained everything. He said, "You should have seen him. He pulled up the gun, he was shooting him, he was hopping like a rabbit." And, I'm listening to this. And so the only time I ever really went to the police was after I left his apartment. I went down and told them, and they said, "Rob, you have to wear a wire and go back and befriend him, because we're in trial." And I didn't know. And so that was the only time I actually really approached the police. And, coming off the Natalie Holloway case, coming right up to 2005, I've never approached...
Oh, you are a psychic, because I was getting ready to ask you. But I mean, literally, I just wrote that name down about 5 minutes ago. Oh, my gosh. Yes, Natalie Holloway.
Yes. We were... I had a radio show from 2004 to 2008, and on 2 different stations. And during that time frame, the BBC, BBS radio were putting together, when Natalie was were missing, everybody together, a film crew and everything, to go down there, and I had my drawings and what have you. The authorities at the time said, "Don't come now, it's a bad time." We were doing it right. We were doing it right. We're going to stage it properly and get with the authorities and everything. They said, "Everybody's here. They're calling the island." And at the time, their economy was starting to fall, because everybody was there just to find Natalie. And so we were asked to stay behind. So we did. And in doing so, the producer said to me, "What would you like to do?" And I said, "Well, let's go shoot in a movie called Ghosts and Legends." So I said, "Okay." So off to Chicago we went. As we're in the hotel room, and there was a bunch of people involved in this Natalie Holloway case that were brought to the table, from radio personalities to film crew people to people who I could confer with. And my drawings of his shoes and the beach area, and if you recall them saying at any time, like of late, that his shoes were left on the beach and stuff, well, those are the shoe drawings that showed up on Fox News, and